I think my
Oh,
numbers are higher, and I think that I've actually watched them
oh
roll
yeah,
back the numbers while I was recording.
yeah.
So, you know, that's how it is with me. Oh,
Well, I'm gonna
I
live.
wasn't talking into my microphone. What was I doing? Hold on. We're live on YouTube right now. So I'm going to start recording here. Let me make sure I've got my
Okay.
microphone there. Done. No, wrong button. Record. Hi, everyone. How are you tonight? Welcome to the GoldFish Report. I'm your host and researcher, Louisa. This is Friday, March the 14th, 2025. This is GoldFish Report number 1143, and it's our Food for the Soul series. On Friday night, we're back with you again with psychic medium Mark Christopher Nelson. Good to see you, Mark. Hope you're feeling better. How you
Yes,
doing?
Louisa. Hey, I actually have a voice. For about a week or so, I did not have a voice. I was sounding like, in fact, I tried to do some readings and I felt like I was giving people, they were talking to three different demons. None of them were me. I was like, "Oh," but I'm back. I'm here
Good,
and
good. You look good. You look like you're, you know,
tan, ready, and rested.
yeah, there you go. I just want to check in with our live chat to see if we let me see, make sure our viewers uh have found us this week. Again, if you don't see us on Facebook, we're on YouTube. Yeah, yeah, there you go. So it takes a minute for this to load. This is actually slow. There has been cyber attacks. I mean, I think there's a second one now on X. So
Oh,
let me just refresh this.
I
Really
guess that's
weird.
what happens when you try to expose fraud, and the people who committed the fraud don't like that.
Well, you'd think
Yeah.
you'd think because if you're owning several businesses and then you decide to go and expose all the, you stop the gravy train for all the corrupt people out there,
Yeah. Hey, we don't
someone
like
might just
that.
target you, right?
And we're going to hire lots of people to make false accusations and try to attack you. Never
Well,
happened before that someone would try.
mm,
Oh, and if there's even been like swatting of certain people in the media that like they're getting their homes or lovely individuals are calling in SWAT attacks
yeah,
on, on a range of figures. And so all those figures tend to be on the right at this point. So isn't that nice? That's just another tactic used by low-life individuals on the other side that want to protect their gravy train, to use your
yeah, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And can you hear me okay? I feel like I have to do it.
testing. I can hear you just
Let me
fine.
just say, are you sure?
Great.
Okay, hold on a
Yeah.
second. Let me just make sure that yeah, yeah, it is. I just turn it up just a little bit more. Okay. If you guys are whoever's in the chat, if you could just give me like a thumbs up to let me know that or just let us know that you can hear both of us okay, that's great. Yeah, there's a lot of cyber attacks going on. So like I was saying, Musk has had suffered a second one now, it seems. Um, and it seems that he traced the IP to, well, he said the Ukraine area. So, uh,
Nice.
yeah, yeah. So, look, there's a war, definitely a war going on. And I just wanted to, preface this report tonight by saying this is kind of the calm before the storm because, as you saw I mean, so far this year, we've lost $4 trillion in the stock market. That's a lot. It looks like Trump is doing, like at least the top 20%, he looks like he's doing a controlled, um, implosion of the market. It's a bubble. It's way, 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 way overvalued. It needs to correct. But not only does it need to correct, it we're changing financial systems.
Mhm.
And so in order to do that, it really has to crash. It literally has to go to zero. And so regardless of what, now the problem is this. The problem is what will happen after the crash? And I can tell you from my sources, they're saying that Trump does have a plan to restore um, the the markets. but I don't think they're going to be back to the level that they were. This is when the global currency reset happens, which I've been reporting about for 10 years. Um, Finally, I guess it's finally going to happen. Nobody knew the time frame of all of this. At
Hmm.
least I wasn't privy to that information. Certainly, I had hoped that it would have been sooner, but I am not, like I said, privy to all of the. You just imagine the scale. First, imagine the scale of how long it took these central bankers to create a central banking system and to value their monies in all the different currencies in all the different countries, the regulations that banks needed to have in order to do business, not just domestically, but internationally, to do international trade. I mean, so all of these regulations, these Bretton Woods, all of these, agreements regarding currency, all of these things had to be redone in order to modernize the whole system. So, uh, um, it's a behemoth. I mean, it's a huge undertaking, which is
Hmm.
why, complaining about how long it's taking is not helping anybody because it's
Yeah.
going to take as long as it needs to take. It's a huge, huge overhaul. It is, a blockchain system that the financial system is changing to. It's a digital system.
Hmm.
Ripple will be the let's put it to you this way. Ripple is the train tracks and XRP is the train. And
That's
XRP, sorry?
Let me just say, in my neighborhood in North Carolina, we just saw a Ripple laying tons and tons of cable through our whole region. So I found that very interesting. So you're calling it's the train tracks. I accept that. But I mean, it was just really amazing. I mean, literally big Ripple trucks. Who are these people? We're Ripple. It's coming, folks. I mean, that's one thing I would say.
You
They're,
didn't take a picture and text that to me? How could you?
I didn't know.
Next time, take a picture and text it to me. Okay, because that would be really important to like show and to report on. But it's okay. Don't worry about it, Mark. I'm sorry.
I'm
I don't
not
mean to.
lying about it.
I
Hey, I'm
don't
not
mean to.
lying.
I'm not sorry. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. But the reality is that's amazing. How did you know it was Ripple?
Because it said so on the side of the truck. And
And
all the
you did.
guys were wearing Ripple, like Ripple, Ripple. Notices this is Ripple coming. It was really, it's like, who's Ripple? And so I mean, we thought it was just like another Spectrum, internet. But because they were coming in and knocking out our cable accidentally, and then apologizing. But Ripple cabling has been laid in our whole area. I live near South North Carolina, in North Carolina, not like kind of halfway between Charlotte and South Carolina border. So anyway, but it's coming. It's there. I didn't mean to cut you off. And so the thing that I find interesting is the relationship between your XRP and Ripple. So you know more about this than I do. I'm on board with it, but
Mhm.
take it away.
Okay, so as I was saying, the train tracks is Ripple. That's the uh, mechanism. That's uh, the vehicle, if you will, to to facilitate cross-border payments.
Hmm.
Um, the trains themselves are XRP, and
People are going to need to know what XRP. I'm ahead of you, and
yeah,
thank you very
XRP.
much.
Okay, XRP is a digital currency that is made by Ripple. It works on the Ripple system. So naturally, it has to, and I hate to tell people, the more I research this, the more I realize Bitcoin's going to go to zero. It was never intended to be Ripple. It was XRP. It was a beta test coin. That's what BTC, that's its call sig symbol, BTC,
Mhm.
beta test coin.
Well,
So that's
yes.
Bitcoin. So so what they're doing is creating the Internet of Value, and revamping the entire financial system, and uh, every train stop, every train station is a different country. So what happens is the little XRP train, drives down the Ripple tracks and stops, has to reconcile. Oh, it's China, and look, they're looking at their ledger to see what they have to reconcile, what business transactions they have to reconcile with China, and they go to China and they use XRP to settle these uh, transactions in their local currency. So they take the XRP and they convert it to exchange it to their local currency. So
Well, two things.
XRP
Let me add two things.
Sure.
Trump has made XRP part of the, I believe it's our, he's
Reserve.
supporting part of our reserve. It's part of it. It's, and I think Bitcoin is still in the forefront. But everything I've read about XRP, and this is a different kind of show for us so far,
Hmm.
folks, but is that it's built with the technology that allows it to do a lot of things. And that and my understanding is that what you can speak to this too in a few
Hmm.
weeks, middle of April, ironically, not long after the Mercury retrograde is over, that there's going to be a court case decided, and it appears to be going in the favor of XRP. The other thing too, XRP is, and we're not selling it. Don't go to, we're not like selling gold and all of these shows like everybody else, but it's also backed by gold, I understand, which makes it kind of an unusual technology. It's a different kind of coin.
Well, gold hit $3,000 for the first time in history today,
Wow.
an ounce. Yeah. So speaking to what you're saying there, Mark, so this lawsuit was brought about by the SEC, and it really has slowed things down, but it almost doesn't really seem to have mattered because it wasn't ready to be optimized yet. XRP wasn't. Its value is in its utility. So what you're looking for is you're looking for all the different countries and all the different banks to agree to use XRP. And the more that do that, then the more value there will be. It's a utility. So until it's utilized, it's not, the price, you shouldn't expect the price to be going crazy. Bitcoin, I think it's a I think it's a red herring. I mean, I think putting Bitcoin in the reserve, I think later down the road, to me, it seems like the brand for Bitcoin, I don't think they want to lose um, the advantage that that brand has already established. It's not backed by anything. It isn't backed by gold. It's not backed by silver. Nothing. Not yet. And I haven't heard any discussions of that happening, but I do think later down the road it will, which is the only reason why, think about it. If it's not worth anything, if it's not backed by anything, then why would Trump put it in the reserve? And it's because later down the road they may use it because it's got brand recognition that may help, with this whole changeover process. So this lawsuit, so the SEC brought a lawsuit saying that it was a security, and the Security and Exchange Commission, that's the SEC, oversees securities, and uh, so they were trying to say it was a security, but it isn't. It's a commodity. So as a result of that, the SEC really has no case whatsoever because they've already determined it's not a security. So there is no case.
Hmm.
And they're trying to say that Ripple inappropriately sold this to whatever. But it's really not their place anymore to be involved in it.
Hmm.
Now, it is intended for institutional use. It is not intended for you and me, we're supposed to be using something else like XLM, which is backed by silver. So, um, as a result of that, it's many layers of things going on, but I was trying to explain how it works. So it's really the train track analogy. That's why I was going through that, just so that you understood how it operates and how it gets its utility, which is what makes it worth something. Usually, the stocks that you see right now, a lot of them are not just, folks, the stock market is not, there's no common sense anymore. The stock market is not based on actual fundamentals. I mean, it is mostly speculation. So
Mhm.
why wouldn't, if it's mostly speculation, why wouldn't XRP? And it's because of the litigation. Nobody wants to buy stock in something or buy coins or whatever if a company, if you know a company's involved in litigation. So the minute this litigation, what you were saying, Mark, is very important. So the minute that they're saying that there's going to be an announcement that the case will be dropped, it should be over. And they're trying to get a fine, like $125 million fine out of this. And I just don't see why they would pay it. I don't see why a judge, unless they're trying to extort the money. And that's the only real reason that I see.
Right,
But
you're
Brad
saying the
Garland,
government would try to do something immoral or illegal or something like
yeah.
that?
Well, yeah.
I'm
Quite honestly, it's a gravy
teasing.
train. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, look, do you think for a minute that the legal system is used for justice? I'm sorry. It is not there for justice. You haven't, not you, Mark, I'm talking about people in general, have to realize we've been living in a Disney World fairy tale. I hate to say it, but it's the truth.
Hmm.
And it's they did this deliberately to keep us ignorant of the things that's really going on behind the scenes. And let me tell you that there's more to report on this, but I want to go and just say hello, to check in with our chat, our viewers. Oh my goodness. Hello, hello. Marisha, Amanda, we have DJ, Mark, Robert. Yeah, so good evening to you. Welcome, everybody. Yep. Amanda, she says, hi, Mark. Glad you're back. And Marisha says, hear you just fine. All right. Thank you for that, Marisha. I appreciate that. Amanda says, Mark, is there something good I can look forward to by the summer? Did you want to take that now? Like,
Sure. It
okay,
was
this is for, let me repeat it. It's for Amanda Kennedy. Is there something good she can look forward to by the summer?
Amanda, the first thing I'm seeing, I'm supposed to tell you to do is I still see you putting your arms up to protect yourself. So I'm going to say be in the short term, be a little bit protective of what you have, where you spend your money. In fact, I'll get into this in a second too. So I would say by summertime, things will lighten up, but in the short term, I'm supposed to ask you to be very alert, aware of anyone that may not have all of your best interest. And I'm not trying to sound nefarious. It's not that bad, but I'm going to tell you that to take your time. All right. And by the way, for everybody listening, I'm the Mercury retrograde, depending on who or how you look at it, it either begins today or tomorrow, and then it ends, I think, April 7th. So for the next 3 weeks, in fact, the general advice is don't rush into anything. Don't do anything, reread everything. This is a time that's very well known for miscommunication, uh, small problems. If you rush, something's going to go wrong. I don't pretend to know a ton about it. I just know that I experience the downside of the Mercury retrograde. It seems like it messes everything up. If you're planning to move something forward, it stalls, it stops. So the best way to defend yourself is to be conscious of the choices. It's like, can this wait? Do I need to do this now? It's supposed to also, to this time around, affect Aries and Pisces a little bit more. So, what it means is that you may be more prone to dealing with people who have sharp emotions. You yourself may tend to be a little more extra emotional. But back to your question, Amanda, I feel like that um, it's gonna get better, but things are gonna start out slowly for you, and I just have to go with this. be a little on guard, okay? That's my message.
Okay, great. I'm just looking for saying hello to everybody. Let's see. DJ Mark, do you see the USA going into the countries of Canada, Greenland, or Panama in the near future?
I do I see them going into? I think that there's a good like recently Greenland just um, took a step towards independence from Denmark. So they just had that vote, and it tends, I'm not sure if it's my feeling is that they're going to be more open to selling resources and to working with the United States as opposed to Denmark. So there's only like 60,000 people there. As for Canada, Canada is doing a lot of noise making right now, but they don't have really the leverage to make things really difficult. The United States isn't going in. Anyone that says that, we don't need to conquer a neighbor like that. And then what was the other country she was talking about? Or uh,
She said that Panama, Greenland, and Canada.
Greenland is, I mentioned, Panama is actually going, for better or worse, to be run by BlackRock. And I suppose that's better than having China run it because they would actively be against our best interests. So that's how that's shaping up BlackRock. And I don't really
Mm,
trust BlackRock.
mm.
So my sense is that nothing in our daily lives here in America, the only thing I can say is that we would have a little more control over, we wouldn't have to be so worried about China shutting down the Panama Canal if they were in charge. So, but the US doesn't have to go in. We just have to own certain things, and that's what's happening.
Yeah, it's gonna happen, I think, in my opinion,
Yeah.
because if you look at the
Legal.
Bible, if you look at the Bible, it tells you there's going to be 10 kings. There's going to be, I mean, seven kingdoms. There's going to be, or 10 regions of the world. And it will include Greenland, so it will be, look, they're already talking about Canada. And quite honestly, the USA Corporation owns Canada, owns the corporation. So you have to realize that these things are also following biblical prophecy. So, it's going to happen. I mean, we really have very little say in what happens geopolitically.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's
Well,
really the kind of
they
thing.
to add to your point, and to answer the question, my sense is that all of these three countries are going to be very much solidly within the sphere of influence of the United States. They won't be making any moves without us. On the surface, it may appear that they are independent and operating where everything is being done legally, but I don't trust any of that. My
Mm.
feeling is that the United States is, in fact, controlling all of this. Canadian politicians can make some noise as other countries, but behind the scenes, it's going to be the United States calling the shots. And so we don't need to go in to influence them.
You mean King Trump?
Yes, more or less.
Yeah, I know, right? So, I mean, I wasn't trying to, I mean, I was just adding to what Mark had said. So our information is consistent. It's not, I wasn't in any way contradicting anything you said, Mark. I was just adding to it because I,
I was
saw
about
that.
to start crying when I thought you were doing. No,
So,
semantics. It's little words here and there, and but yeah, and I appreciate the biblical reference to all of this. I mean, what I'm just this. I mean, when I look at some of these global events, I really, if anything, you said something at the top of the show that I really support, believe, and again, this is just another facet of the war between good and evil that we're seeing. Just another facet of it. So are you spiritual? I know we're talking a lot about money and financial things, but they are part of the whole transition that is coming. So the idea of being spiritually aware, and if you can be financially prepared for what's coming. It just God doesn't want us to be broke. God doesn't want us to be fearful and desperate. And so
yeah,
I encourage everyone, and I've been doing this in my readings. I mean, I really do feel like we're heading into a period, I keep calling it a euphemism, turbulence. But what it
yeah,
really is going to amount to is financial shakedowns, disruption, and whatever you can do,
Mm.
keeping cash in the house somewhere where it's safe,
Mm.
having gold, having certain
Silver. Hmm.
silver, gold, and all
Hmm.
of that. These are ways to protect yourself in the event that one thing happens that, all of a sudden you can't get to the grocery store or they're not taking your credit card or your bank's credit card.
Mm.
I mean, we're going to see we're seeing lots of bank failures. That's happening. And that's a sign of just the things to come. So, um, being spiritual, I mean, I also think it's difficult to be spiritually prepared and not be emotionally and physically prepared. You have to be prepared for
Mm.
all of these things all around. They are integrated. You know,
Hmm.
we're spiritual beings, but we're in physical bodies right now. So you have to take care of it from all perspectives.
There's a question Joanne has asked in the chat. There's, let me see. There's a 13-year-old girl that's missing for over a month now, in near Gary, Indiana. Do you get any? Her name is Janaya.
Um, I feel like Janaya has been abducted. I'm not sure that we'll be seeing her. Please, and I got to say this. I got to let go of my. All right. I to be very specific. I don't see a reunion for her and her family anytime soon. And I'm trying to look past my feelings. Just so you know, I am a guy. I'm dad and grandpa, and I care. I have strong feelings about protecting children. When I hear that kind of thing, I have to really separate myself. And when I see this, it makes me feel like that girl is not coming home. Um, I want to say anytime soon, but my feeling is that while I pray for her safe return, I'm having trouble seeing it. That's the best, nicest, least negative way I can say it.
Jesus said, when two or more are gathered in his name, he is present. And I think if for everyone who is watching this live broadcast right now, I think if we can all just pray together for this
Yes,
girl, that maybe we can make some miracles happen
please.
for her.
And I
Lord
believe.
Jesus, please look after this girl, find her, keep her safe, bring her home, and keep her comforted. We've had too many people, too many children. Please protect these children. We don't need any more disappearing. Protect her. Please bring her home. Help the people who are looking for her find her. Uh, call Mark. Have him call Mark. Maybe
Yeah.
Mark can help
I,
them locate where she is right now.
yeah.
Call Mark.
My sense about her is that I think
Amen.
she's
I'm
still
sorry.
alive. Oh no, amen.
I just wanted to close the prayer, and for anyone who was following that with me, please thank you for following in prayer for that, because I can't. Yeah, I'm with you, Mark. I'm with you. I mean, this is very difficult, very, 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 very difficult. And I'll tell you, my kids were kidnapped from me, so I know this is anguish that her parents are going through, anguish. And you have no idea. We are warriors for you. I will do whatever I can to help this child be reunited with her family and pray to God to spare this child. Spare this child, bring her back home.
One thing
That's all I
I
have to say.
didn't mean to interrupt the prayer. Thank you for doing that. God, you're being directed by God there, and I appreciate that. My sense about her is that this girl is still alive, but she's on the move and is being hidden. And that's a scary, dangerous place for a young 13-year-old. So I pray God, please protect her and help her to come home after all of this terrible tribulation.
All right. Well, that's the best we can do. When something like this comes up, I think it's time to um, get moving. And I think that, when the prayers get heard, they they can move mountains, they can create miracles.
Mhm.
So let's just hope and pray for a miracle for her. Joanne, thanks for bringing that to our attention, because I'm going to stop the broadcast and do a prayer for this girl. You know that. There's just no way. And, I'm just heartbroken for her family right now. Uh, so Thanks all the time. Oh, I'm looking for the next Oh, Todd made it. Great. Arizona. Welcome. Have any questions, Todd? Yeah, bring her back. Exactly. Oh, let's see. Um, Definitely. Okay, she said she's going to message the man who does the search in the area for the missing children. When it comes to children, call every psychic you can because they're going to help. They'll help. And I don't know, how some can be more specific than others, but you have to keep trying. Definitely
Yeah.
keep trying. Absolutely. So let me go back for a minute. Todd, did you have any questions? Do you have Robert, you've got a lot to say here, and I haven't found an actual question. So I'm glad, everyone will have a chance to read your messages in here. There is a spirit, it's very spiritual what's going on right now. In fact, I have some other intel, some other information about what's really kind of happening. I mean, first of all, there is a military operation going on, and it's specifically to weed out um, the spies within the government, the double agents, the triple agents, the sleepers, people who are here for nefarious purposes, leftovers perhaps from the Obama administration. Um, and all of this is happening. Sorry, I have to take my glasses off to read my notes here. Okay, so there's the military cleaning out of all the spies and inside the US. Because think about it. I mean, how can we move forward with a new financial system when all the crooks are still out there trying to steal the money and the bankers are stealing the money? I know very high level people who are involved in overseeing and making sure these banks stop stealing money. And this is really um, one of the only ways to do it because this new financial system is completely transparent. Every transaction is recorded on the blockchain. There's no hiding it. There's no more offshore accounts. Nobody's going to be able to hide money anymore. And no one's going to be able to launder money anymore. So we're not completely dropping. It's going to take time to drop the paper money, but eventually society will go completely digital. It's just at this point in time, it's not. But there will be, as you were saying, there will be a coming financial collapse, and there will be arrest wars coming up. And I'm going to touch on that in just a minute.
One
Trump
thing
does have a plan to quickly restore the stock market collapse as well. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I heard an interview. It may have been something you sent me, and
Mm.
it has to do with the people of Ripple having invented or developed XRP, and that I've heard that Ripple can run a number of different coins or technologies, coins over their system. But because they developed Ripple, they developed XRP, they're going to be more inclined to use XRP. Does that make sense, or did I make something up?
Well, at this point, I mean, at this point, XRP, from my understanding, is so far the only coin proposed. But let me explain a little bit more.
Hmm.
We're going to have a new stock market. So the new stock market is going to be fully digital, which means the companies that you see today, every company is going to become tokenized. So an ETF is an exchange traded fund. So we are going to be able to tokenize. There will be many different tokens. So it is all going to be interoperability. There will be this ability to, I think, swap and to use uh, interoperability, which is really multiple functions, like you're saying.
Hmm.
So I don't know all the details of that, but this is what I wanted to share with everyone. Let me just screen share
Yep.
my page real quick, and then we'll go to more questions. Um, Let me just do this. I'm not an expert, folks, but I've been researching this for quite a long time. And so I finally felt comfortable enough to kind of start talking about it. I mean, I have reported on this before, but not in the detail. So here we have SEC's comprehensive proposal. XRP as a strategic financial asset for the US. That is huge. So here's the SEC saying comprehensive proposal. This is what as a strategic financial asset. Now, this is the proposal here. Uh, so this will give you a little bit more information. Screen share this, stop it. It's live, so you can come back to the recording anytime. You can see that the global Nostra accounts, economic analysis, unlocking trillions through XRP. So here you have the interoperability as well. Uh, you have here where it's talking, the number two, where it's talking about the legal clarity pathway, does here talk about the resolution of that issue. See official clarification. I don't know if you could see it, but it says here official clarification and settlement with Ripple. I don't think Ripple needs to settle anything. They didn't do anything wrong. So
Yeah.
I'm sure their lawyers are arguing that, and that might be, what delays this a little bit, why it's not done today, right? As opposed to
Mhm.
why it may be done a month from now. But you're also saying, Mark, that because okay, so give us this idea of Mercury retrograde again and when it starts and stops.
Mercury retrograde begins either today or tomorrow. Feels like it started today, and it's supposed to run 3 weeks. It's basically a time when major plans, legal agreements are all stalled. If you're trying to start something, it's a bad time to start it. Generally, astrologically speaking, I encourage you to look at other sources. But if you're not familiar, I think many of the people who are listening may have an awareness of the Mercury retrograde. It does affect some people more than others, some institutions more than others, but the overall thing is that um, plans get backed up, stalled, need to be
Mm,
represented, redone, re-edited, rechecked. And
mm.
so things slow down. That's just what it is. Badly.
Okay. Well, this is the document here. I'm gonna make it, and that might be, part of what's going on here. I mean, this is Mercury.
Call it a
Trust me. You
coincidence.
know what they say, the different. What's that?
Call it a coincidence.
Exactly, so you're spot on with this. And you know what they say the difference between millionaires and billionaires is?
A zero?
Billionaires use astrology.
Interesting. I believe it. Just,
Yeah.
I've assisted a number of pretty wealthy people making choices about
Mm,
their businesses, their holdings.
hmm
I've been talking to a pretty well-off family this week. And I feel very blessed that messages I get can apply to that as well.
Okay. Oh, good. So let me go back to I didn't want to have the screen share on while you were talking. I like people to see your face when you talk. So
Thank you.
here's more. Okay, so they're talking about that. They're talking about legal clearance for the XRP based transactions. So you can see there's different agencies involved in these processes, right? Mandate XRP for bank liquidity solutions. And so this is direct integration into financial policy. Okay, so this is all the regulation that they're, and legal regulation that they're putting in place. It says here a standard 24-month implementation plan, so regulatory clearance 3 to 6 months, things of that nature, DOJ legal clearance and things like that. SEC settlement. I mean, I don't know why they think that they're going to settle this. Like it should just be dropped because there's no
Yeah.
case. But, that's not
Wait, you think
up
the
to
government
me.
is lying to us?
No, well, again, I think it's just the gravy train. We have different time frames for different things. XRP government payment pilot, 6 to 12 months. Bank adoption, uh, Bitcoin reserve buildup. I don't really know why, but again, because it's not backed by any precious metal. So I think at some point they will probably back it with something, but I know what I don't know at this point in time. So again, here's accelerated 6 to 12 month plan, fast tracking XRP implementation. So again, we have the regulatory clearance. executive order, the XRP testing and government payments, the full-scale financial integration, and Bitcoin reserve buildup. So uh, then we have necessary actions to accelerate XRP integration, which kind of just is like a repeat of what was already just mentioned above, quite honestly.
Mhm.
Emergency financial legislation for banking system adoption, except for that. But again, a strategic Bitcoin, I just can't imagine why they want Bitcoin. Uses 1.5 trillion in freed capital for a bulk Bitcoin purchase in 6 months. I don't know. And why would the government want to buy it at this price anyway? So it's all going to crash. And I don't know. I saw people shorting XRP right now. So you might want to put that into your strategy that you're using right now for your finances. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but because everything's going to go to zero. So there's still going to be buying opportunities, just to let you know. Lifting the XRP contact ban with the SEC. So strategic justification, we'll see about that. The DOJ must lift the contact ban. So you can see that the litigation has really put the shackles on XRP and Ripple at this point. And that you could see that clearly in this here. Clarification on Donald Trump's Bitcoin reserve statement and crypto strategy. Mhm. Here you can see clarifying the roles of different cryptocurrencies. So this answers your question, and then I'm going to be done with the XRP because I don't really want to get into any more of it. But XRP for state level financial transactions. See, that's not for the people, person to person, peer to peer. It's state level, right, institutional, okay? Optimizing government payments and interbank liquidity. So remember, this was meant for institution. Solana used for high-speed blockchain applications such as real-time government databases, secure voting mechanisms, and digital identity management. Yeah, so all these different companies. I mean, this is not XRP, this is not Ripple by itself. There's many companies that are working in conjunction to provide other parts of the puzzle. So as you're seeing right here, and then Cardano is best suited for academic credentialing, smart contracts for government services, and secure infrastructure management. Now, smart contracts is a term you're going to have to get used to. It basically says it's like an agreement, and XRP and Ripple are, well, actually, Ripple is going to have this what's called smart contracts on the Ripple network. All right, and this is like, okay, so every 30 days I pay so and so X amount of money, and that contract is so that's the contract and that gets put on the blockchain and that transaction occurs every 30 days or whatever your contract is, you pay this person or that person or you pay this, whatever. So those are what contracts mean. So it's great to see this, though. I mean, this has been in the works for a very long time. And there's many, there's Grayscale, there's Polkadot, there's all kinds of other companies that are involved in this that have other types of functions and provide other, I would say, other parts of the whole system. So, and then of course the final recommendations and things like that. So you can see this financial impact table, and then they're looking. So I'm going to just go here. Now you can definitely go back and visit this. This was just released yesterday. So this is the latest information regarding XRP and goodness, a lot of messages. Okay, so let's go back to our live chat. Well, actually, yeah.
I'm gonna say, for what it's worth, one coin of
Mhm.
XRP, I think, is trading in the $2.30 range. $2.30, 2.40,
20.
up and down,
I think it
2.20.
was 220. What was it 228.9,
Yeah.
228? Yeah. I mean, it's still a good buy when you real think about it. But I have watched this new stock exchange form. It's just blown my mind how everything from Boeing, IBM, everything's going to be tokenized. Every single thing. There's going to be a new digital stock market. It's
Well,
and it's going to be the tokens that you're going to deal with here.
well,
So let me
since
go back.
oh,
Go
let me just
ahead.
say, since I'm a spiritual guy, I turn to The Simpsons whenever I need any kind of predictions. And so, oddly enough, The Simpsons made a prediction a couple of years ago that XRP would be go its value would go up to $100,000 per coin. So I found that funny. And but then far more recently, Forbes magazine put a, I mean, I don't know how they get to this, but they think it could be worth $60,000 a coin.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, what is Bitcoin trading at approximately?
I'm not sure. I don't know at the moment. Maybe what, 80, 90,000, something like
So
that.
if that sounds crazy to you, then you see Bitcoin
Uh-huh.
at that level. So it's not out of the realm. Anyway, so
So
we people
I
in your
yeah, I was
question.
looking for I was just looking for what you were saying, what you were talking about. I have um is that it? I have a here. I wanted to share this with everyone. This is a Simpsons clip. A very quick little Simpsons clip.
The Simpsons predict XRP reaching $100,000 and Bitcoin crashing to $1. In episode 9, season 38 of The Simpsons, a jaw-dropping prediction shakes the financial world. The episode opens with a news flash. XRP has skyrocketed to $100,000 per coin, while Bitcoin, once the king of cryptocurrencies, has plummeted to a shocking $1. Springfield is thrown into turmoil. Residents who held on to Bitcoin, convinced of its value, lose everything. Homer, refusing to sell at the start of 2025, watches his savings evaporate. Meanwhile, Lisa, ever the visionary, shifts her focus early, urging Marge to invest in XRP. By mid-2025, their decision pays off, and the Simpsons family becomes wealthier than ever. The episode reveals a dark twist. Secret documents hint that Bitcoin was only a trial run for XRP. The rise of XRP was carefully orchestrated by powerful elites and governments who plan to make it the foundation of a global financial system. As Bitcoin collapses, governments and corporations suddenly adopt XRP as the new world currency. Businesses that relied on Bitcoin crumble, but those who invested in XRP thrive. Springfield transforms as XRP becomes the backbone of the economy.
Okay, so there you have it, folks. I just wanted to share that with you because
It has to
I,
be true then. It's coming. We have no
yeah,
choice.
yeah,
The symptoms have proclaimed this.
yeah,
So,
exactly. Let's see what else we have. Okay, so Todd is saying, hold on a second. Yeah, Todd is saying he's moving to a new location. Is that a good move for him?
yes, it feels like the first you heard is safety. You're going to be safe. You'll be good there. You'll be, want to go out of harm's way. I don't know where you were. It feels like that this is a much more logical place for you to be. Feels like too that I just feel like that you can relax a little bit more there.
Oh, good. That's good news. Still, I don't even know what Robert's talking about. Um, yeah. I don't know, maybe you're having a conversation with somebody. Um, let's see. Calibrate. Um, yeah, Robert, I don't know what you're doing like in the chat because the other people in the chat are wondering what you're talking about. Um, so maybe, you can be a little bit more specific and, if you're a bot, I mean, I might have to block you because I don't know, you're not really contributing to the conversation and to what's going on, like you're on your own there. So, yeah. Okay, so let's go. Cecilia, Bitcoin at it's at 84. Thanks, Cecilia. Thanks for mentioning that. Let's see. Okay, so destined for greatness. Oh, Maggie. Okay, Maggie wants to know, will she be moving to Asheville?
I feel like that the path to you moving to Asheville opens up. Feels like if there have been blockers in the way, I feel like that they go out of the way. They get moved aside. You get to go. But I would say it's going to take a lot of effort. But there's two things involved. Was there anything in the way? Those go out of the way. Now, do you have the resources? I believe that you can and will. So aim for it with the idea of knowing that things that got in the way before are going to go out of the way.
Okay, I've just been I gave you a timeout. I gave you a timeout, Robert, because it's like you're spamming my chat and it's not making any sense. And I'm having to read through everything to try to find questions from people, and it's a little bit distracting. So I gave you a 5 minute timeout, okay? Let's see. Okay. Um, Let me ask you. I mean, I don't have any more questions in the chat right now, but let me just ask you, what is your feeling about the rapture, like time wise?
I have trouble. It's almost like I feel like that I'm going to see so many people that I know and love get left behind. So I think that the rapture, it's not going to happen. I feel like that I'm not seeing it happen within the next 2 to 3 years. I mean, if that was a concern,
Wow.
I'm
Well,
saying
I
that,
mean,
yeah, I'm not feeling it. You know what, too? I can be wrong. I mean, I reserve the right to be wrong, and
mhm.
I try to be in the right place. But my sense is that I don't see it changing the world. I feel like we're seeing, I mean, could it happen in our lifetime? Yes. Um, is it going to happen within the next 3 to 4 years? I just don't feel it happening. So
Okay. Okay. So some other information that I'm also getting is that there's a lot of information that's going to be coming out about these UFOs, UAPs, whatever you want to call it, that in fact our government has actually used deception. Would you believe it?
I'm so glad I was sitting for that.
You want to fall, get hurt.
Oh, no.
That these UAP, UFO retrieval programs, this that has to do with this our subconscious, like the subconsciousness of these remote viewers and who would be in contact with different dimensions, different interdimensionals, different universes, different people inside Earth, in fact.
Mhm.
This has to do with vibrations of our DNA. This has to do with the CE5 operations and also the Stargate operations.
Mhm.
So Roswell, what they, when Roswell happened, they actually admitted it happening and then they retracted it afterwards. But they were essentially able to communicate with other beings in other places, and some of them are very benevolent, and they don't know the kind of evil that is here. They don't know the kind of deception that's here, and they were very trusting. And they would come to a certain area, and then the military would essentially hit them with this radar, and this radar would skew their ability to navigate, and they would crash. And when they would crash, they would steal the technology, and some of them would die, whether they're part biological, part whatever. It's all coming out. I mean, it's all slowly coming out. But these operations, tracking the aliens, manipulating operations, sometimes they use certain particle beam weapons and they shoot them down. This is all part of what's going on, what's been coming out, and it's part of the war because it's so connected to our DNA and who we are. Because we're born as a loving, trusting creature. in this world with all of its um, imposes and presents many. I mean, if you want to look at it biblically, just say temptations
Hmm.
that cause us to sin. Okay, it causes us to go a different path. Causes us to take other decisions, and maybe not so good decisions. You know, not good overall. Um, there's definitely people living in our earth. There's definitely a lot of disclosure that's coming out. There's a lot of that that's also controlled because they don't want to admit that they were basically always just trapping these and they're run through their consciousness. The UFO is kind of like I've heard they're grown on like vines and they're connected to the consciousness of the pilot, whoever's driving it. So there's no controls. You literally put your hand down on it, and if you don't have the DNA to match it, you don't operate that craft. So these are, I mean, can you imagine that technology? So,
It,
like, why can't we have this technology? They don't want us to have it, which is why it's very controlled what's coming out. But
yeah.
at certain point, you know, at a certain point, this more of this will be, you know, disclosed to us. But you know, I mean, it'd probably be the baby boomer generation probably will no longer be on this, you know, on this planet. I mean, they're kind of, you know, they're at the upper limit right now. You know, they're the last generation to, or the oldest generation surviving at the moment anyway. So this is the war that's going on, but I also wanted to say I wanted to share some other fact here because somebody had asked Grok. Now, Grok, for what you know, for those who don't know, is the AI that is used on X. It's a function that you can use. You can ask it questions. It's like a Google, but this
Hmm.
belongs to X. And it asked a question about the sealed indictments, and it actually had a very interesting answer. And because no one's heard about what's going on with these sealed indictments that supposedly were starting during the initial operation, you know, Q operation. And here's the answer here that Grok had given. Let's see if this shows the whole question. No. Someone had asked, uh, is Trump going to unseal all these indictments during his current presidency? And Grok answered, sealed indictments are piling up, 562,000 total as of March 2025, with 78,000 unsealed. Now you know why Rosie O'Donnell went to Ireland, and I don't think they even want her there, but that's another story. Trump's
Hmm.
term has 4 years to tackle this. But at the current rate of 4.6 thousand unsealed in 4 months, it's a stretch to clear them all. The pace would need to jump over 120,000 per year. Military tribunals at Gitmo and other bases are active, but the backlog is massive. Justice moves slow when the swamp is deep. So I wanted to just share that with everyone because it's something that I reported on years ago, and there was no follow-up to it. There was very little follow-up to it. We know Catherine Herridge has been down at Guantanamo Bay, but has she reported anything from there? Not from what I've seen, but I could be wrong. I just haven't seen it myself. Um, so there were mass arrests. I had lists of CEOs and I mean, not just that, chiefs of police, heads of universities, um, corporations, you know, CEOs of corporations, doctors, lawyers, judges. They're all on this list of people who were resigning. I mean, this was happening in mass during Trump's first administration. Just to you know put a little perspective on what's happening here. Um, so let's just take a look. It's 9 o'clock. Let's take a last look at see if we have any other questions. Yeah, I had to mute Robert. That was just a little distracting. Yeah, you're a baby boomer, a boomer. Yeah, hope to not be around for aliens. Yeah, right. You know, you never know. You never really know, right?
No.
Have I missed anyone's question because it was like spamming. He was like spamming my chat and I just had to put him in timeout. So if I've missed your question, please retype it. I apologize. I just couldn't get through all the, the chatter there, all of the stuff. I'm not saying to invest in XRP just because The Simpsons have predicted
No,
it.
no, no.
Not at all. And I'm not suggesting you invest in XRP. I'm just informing you of
Not
what's
financial
coming.
planners. We're
Yeah,
not
not at
financial.
all. I'm merely just informing you of what's coming. So, but I do think personally, I think it's a good investment opportunity if as long as people can still buy it. At some point, that opportunity will not be available because it is meant for institutional use. So at some point, now they know this is called retail. You and I are called retail buyers. They are trying to shake them out. They are trying to discourage people. I mean, with what I've presented to you, how could this not be of greater value than $2.90? So it's being suppressed because of the litigation and how ironic, how not coincidental, as you were saying, Mark, that this resolution starts to move forward when Mercury retrograde is over.
It's just a funny coincidence. You
I'm
can
so
all
glad you brought
like
that up because that's such a big, it seems like it's a probably the most important factor as to why it is taking that long.
yeah. And like we said, folks, I mean, I haven't been I'm just getting a little I'm getting my feet into it, but I don't recommend. I mean, if you're not comfortable with it, you have to do what you and your financial planners and your family think is best. And so under no circumstance are we making any recommendations
Mhm.
or implying an outcome.
Now, Mark, do you want to? I know you did in the beginning of the report, but maybe I don't know if you've gotten anything new since we started the report. But in terms
Yeah.
of predictions,
I feel like that you're going to see more. Um, I want everyone to pay attention to things like swatting, where certain public figures are being called out. Swatting is a term when someone calls out the SWAT teams on certain individuals. I do think that we're going to be heading into a period where there's more rather underhanded, nefarious behavior going on. I think we're going to see more problems. I think that the government is leaning into fixing them, but there's still going to be bumps and bruises along the way. I was concerned about travel earlier in the year. Um, I do feel like that there's going to be more civil unrest, so to speak, violent protests. So be conscious of that when you make your choices. Beyond that, though, I do see this coming together and calming down later in the year. Feels like that there's a lot of pent-up energy against Trump, and that will dissipate as the results of the year, I think, uh, come to light. So, um, this is not a paid message by anybody. This
Mhm.
is me paying attention to how I feel and see things. So that's really it. I really feel like that we're not done with natural disasters, specifically on the West Coast. I think Southern California is probably going to have um, another natural disaster. And it's unfortunate because some of my closest family members live there, love them. I pray to God it doesn't happen.
Mhm.
And that's what I'm looking at the moment.
All right, thank you for that. We do have two more questions that I think that maybe I don't know if I missed because of the
Interrupt.
interruptions, but let's try if you can, Mark.
Yep.
Do you see the med beds coming out by the summer?
All right.
This technology, this new technology, yeah.
Um, I don't see it coming out by the summer. I think maybe prototypes,
Hmm.
but I don't see it in full operation. Med beds, this is where we can improve our bodies, isn't that? Like get a have a body renewal of sorts.
Right, something like it's a technology that
That's not happening this
supposedly
summer.
not this
And
summer.
also too, this is going to be hidden
Hmm.
from the average person. it will take some time before we hear about this. I think that prototypes are being tested. That's how it
Hmm.
feels, but I don't see it happening immediately. And if it does, you won't be, none of us tonight will probably be
Hmm.
in a financial position to take advantage of this breathtaking technology.
Okay. Also, Cecilia says, my brother David disappeared about 2 years ago. Any info will be helpful. Can you tell us the location where he disappeared from and how old was he? We'll just wait for that. Wait for her to clarify that. In the meantime, the central states are getting hit pretty hard. In fact, Texas was hit very, very hard with 80-mile-per-hour winds. A lot of people, I just saw truck after tractor trailer blown over on its side. People couldn't even stand out there. I mean, there must be this weather warfare going on. Or, it depends on who you talk to, right? You have this one group saying, "Oh, well, there's this other celestial body, in our solar system, and it's causing these weather abnormalities." Um, it's hard to say. It's hard to know. What do you think about that, Mark?
Well, I do. I mean, I used to live in St. Louis, loved it, and it scared the heck out of me in the spring. And then to a certain degree, um, I do think that weather manipulation is real. I do think that there may be someone has a purpose to some of this. That stated, there have been terrible, horrible earthquakes, um, tornadoes that have whipped through the central states since
Mm-hmm.
there were central states. So,
Hmm.
but could someone manipulate them now? Yes. Be very conscious of what is revealed after tornadoes touch down. Is
Hmm.
something in this area? I really I've become extremely suspicious of natural events that seem to have a specific financial benefit to certain people.
Okay. So Cecilia says her brother is about 50 and he was in Kenya.
Uh,
So
I
his name is David and he disappeared about 2 years ago.
Unfortunately, the image I get with David is that his hands are tied and that he is forced to leave against his wishes. Um, I don't see, all I see is very pronounced. His hands were tied. He was forced to go. He was kidnapped, is what it feels like, or taken. Um, I'm not seeing I don't see him coming back. Again, I reserve the right to be wrong, but
Mhm.
my sense is that um, someone objected to him, and it feels like just for such bizarre reasons, some personal thing. He represented a certain organization. It feels like company. I feel like that the people who took him were disappointed at what they might get, and so to protect themselves, they may have taken his life. Again, I don't say that lightly. I pray to God I'm wrong. But the thing I'm most clear on is that he was taken away against his own, against his wishes. Hands tied, cuffed, taken. That I can see pretty clearly. But I pray I'm wrong. I'm pray he shows up in next week.
Cecilia, can you confirm that? Did you have any of that information yourself? Were you able to um, confirm any of that? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm very sorry that's the case. Oh boy. Hands cuffed. I mean, did you say it had to do with his company?
I thought it had to do with someone he was working with.
Or
It
something?
looked like that he was seen as a target, and as a result, he was taken away. And then it became less advantageous to return him.
Mm.
And
Was this government related, can you say? Or no?
I would say it's government. I definitely say it's government contracts.
Mm. Why him? Why him?
Because they could get their hands on him. And it's what he represented, America. He represented a large Western company. It feels like there's a Western company associated with him. If I'm wrong, maybe I've seen too many movies like this, but what
Okay.
I'm seeing is that he was taken against his wishes and that they determined he didn't have the value and became a risk.
So, Cecilia, I hope you have investigators involved, in his disappearance and looking for him. Hmm, interesting. And you know, my heart goes out to anybody who's in a situation where they're missing a loved one.
Mhm.
I hope that and pray that we find your brother as well. We find David and
Amen. Amen.
find him healthy and return to home. Yeah.
So,
So that's about it for tonight. I think we have kind of covered everything. We have asked questions, and if anyone else has a question, otherwise we're getting ready to sign off. So, did you have any final comments you wanted to make, or anything in particular that you wanted to
yeah,
share with our viewers?
during the Mercury retrograde, take your time, don't rush. If you have to make a big decision or start something, cross your T's, dot your I's. Be very, very thoughtful about it. If there's nothing driving you to do something right now, it's okay to hang back a little bit. Things will open up.
Mm.
Also, too, I am available for readings. If so you want to find me, I'm at marknelsonmedium.com. You'll see a place for me for readings.
Yeah.
So that's
I'll
the virtual message tonight. marknelsonmedium.com.
yes, medium. Yeah, I don't know why I all of a sudden kind of lost my train of thought. Here it is. Here it is. Sorry, I should have had that up there already. This is Mark's website, marknelsonmedium.com. You can go here and schedule a private reading, which I did. You know, it's funny. Did we ever, I don't know if we shared with our viewers how we met, but it was when Scott Werner passed
Mhm.
away.
Yeah.
And Vicky just happened to mention your name to me, and I just happened to write it down. And
Ah,
I just decided, maybe I'll just give him a call myself. And I made the appointment, and I didn't even tell him anything. I didn't remember, Mark. You had no idea. And it wasn't until we were halfway through my reading that I finally revealed that we had a friend in common who just passed. And it really, I
yeah.
mean, how did were you shocked? And then we just decided
Yeah. Well,
this whole thing was
yes.
very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can tell you that Scott Warner has been a friend to me before and after he passed.
Oh.
So I'm grateful for having met him and his family. Very good people, love him. And Scott has been helpful to me, and I'm grateful for that. I am. And if anyone was a friend of his, you're a friend of mine.
Oh, wow. So Cecilia said, yes, he was in Kenya because I'm from there. He was working with a pastor who killed a lot of people through fasting because they thought rapture was coming. So we think he was captured. Oh, God. Oh, boy. That's heavy. That's heavy,
Yeah.
Cecilia. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's heavy, huh? Daniel has entered the chat. Wants to know if he'll be going to the private side soon. I suppose you might know what that means.
Yeah, Daniel, that door opens for you so easily. I want to say that that door opens for you so easily so that you could get out of where you are into a place where you can use these amazing skills of yours in a less complex, conflicted environment.
Yeah. And too bad you weren't here for the earlier part of our conversation because he would have been able to contribute quite a bit to that. And we talk about those skills, that skill set. So hopefully you've got that. Hopefully that helps. Anyone else with a question before we sign off? Because I think we're signing off. Cecilia said, thank you, Mark. I'll be getting a reading soon. Yeah. And you know what? Mark um can definitely, if there's any messages. Can you ask now? I mean, I don't want to ask for you. Yeah, Cecilia, but if you don't mind me asking if there's any messages, I mean, if we can maybe if he's crossed over, maybe would there be any messages from David to Cecilia? But I don't want to ask. I mean, I just want to know if, with your permission, because maybe you can get more information that way. Because he is a medium. I mean, Mark is not just a psychic. Mark is a medium, and he can also ask, to for messages. But I want Cecilia's permission. I don't want to do that because that might be,
I do think her brother's in spirit. So to me, that means he's not um,
yeah, physically here.
physically here anymore. Um, it feels like he was doing something that he considered very important. Um, and that he had really, at a certain point, when he committed his life to God, when he touched on, when he returned to the continent. And he says, I have no regrets. I feel like I lived my life the way I wanted to live it and devoted myself to Christ. For that reason, I'm in a good, I feel blessed to be where I am. And the people that know me know that I would probably have not chosen another way to pass. Um, I thank God to have met them all.
Hmm. Cecilia, I hope that gave you some comfort. It's at some point we all have to face our mortality, you know? I mean, we're all here on borrowed time, and at some point our time will be up, and we just never know,
Yeah.
when that's going to be and how it's going to be. But we know, and other cultures around the world deal with passing and the afterlife in many different ways, and we don't handle it that well. We don't deal with it very well here in the United States. So, and unfortunately, it makes it much harder for people to move on with their life once someone has passed, um, because of the way, we don't deal with it. But I have seen other cultures, I mean, especially African cultures, so spiritual,
Mhm.
really make a celebration of the life of that person who's now crossed into, yes, oh, right, okay. She says, yes, he was misled, but he feels like he was doing the right thing.
Yep.
So
He
he
came here
he
for that right purpose, is what he said.
right, right. That's all we can do. We can only hope that God finds favor in our decisions, even though other people may take different decisions. But, that's all we can really hope for.
Hmm.
So, um, oh, she says she's speechless. Okay. I hope you're okay. Are you okay, Cecilia? Oh. She says thank you. She'll be getting a reading soon. Daniel says thank you. Todd says thank you. Marissa. Well, how about one last one? And then we can sign off?
Okay, last one.
Okay. So, let's see. Maria says, I'd like to know if my father Lewis has any messages for her. That's all. Lewis.
Um, Lewis is holding up a baby boy. I don't know if there's a new baby boy in the family. I'm seeing him holding up a small child. Um, he says that coming, coming soon. If not, they're ready. He's indicating a small baby would be joining the family, part of the family. Um, he also says too that um, any financial worries you have are nothing more than that. But he shows me this little bouncy baby, like a real new one, that would be showing up sometime in the near future. A source of joy. And that's what I have. Well, Louisa,
Okay.
thank you for
Yeah,
having.
I just wanted to, I'm sorry, I'm just telling Cecilia, and I think that you would echo the same sentiment that that, we hope that this gives her some comfort,
Of course.
and
Yeah,
that's really the only reason to do it. Yeah.
I get no joy about delivering bad news or hard news. I don't. It's never easy. Never easy.
Right. You always have to be careful, though. I mean, what you ask, right? Because you never know, right? You just never know.
I reserve the right to
Yeah.
be wrong.
Right, right. So,
Okay.
everyone, I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. We hope to see you next week. We'll be on Facebook next week because, we alternate every other week. Um, and be careful. Have a
It's
nice weekend.
St. Patty's Day coming up.
Hmm.
Don't overdo it. If you can help it, be careful. People die for the dumbest reasons, and drinking and driving is one of them. So be cautious.
Yeah. So, everyone, thanks for joining me tonight. And with Mark, thanks for joining us both tonight. And we'll see you next week. Have a safe week. And this concludes this edition of the Goldfish